And they understand, because even those who suffer corporal punishment, there were institutions like the Baking Pot, and that thing they call it the Listowel. Finally they call it the Listowel, where they have boys, young boys and men, to transform and reform. Whenever you go there, you must learn a trade. And even in prison, you must learn a trade, so that when you come back, you will be an asset to the society and the community. And the home also, it took a village to raise a child. Every adult was a parent during my era. You do something out the way on the streets, they grab you, they discipline you. And you better hope and pray that they don't reach to your house, because you get a double dip. Your parents is going to deal with you also. And there was a very, very good and close church and state relationship, that whatever the state legislates, the churches were with it, along with it, which means there was no way you could get away. But the whole thing, Pastor Scott and Rev, what I want to tell you, God was first in all of our lives. Whether you are Catholic, Presbyterian, whatsoever, we put God first. And one of the things you will understand today, that we have diverted from the Word of God to try and take control of this world on our own. It will not work. God said you spare the rod, you spoil the child. And that's a fact. Today, they are talking about rights with no responsibility whatsoever. Everybody has so much rights, even the criminals have rights, that now those who enforce the law are impotent, appear to be impotent, because of too much rights and no responsibility. We have to come back to our senses, and we must be honest with ourselves. Those who are advocating for these rights were the very people who colonized us, and it don't work in their country. Look at the great United States. All the technology is there. The FBI, the CIA, and everything else you could think about. Yet, they cannot have a control on crime. As a matter of fact, the mass crime, the FBI and the CIA said that they can have no control about them. Because the criminals, you don't know what's in a man's mind. And this is why we must go back and put God first and follow God's law rather than man's law. Because we will continue to fail and fail miserably. We need to come to grips with reality, not sentiments and emotions, Reverend and Pastor Scott. Yes, we need to do that. Our governments need to come to their senses. We are an independent and a sovereign nation. Sovereignty, God is sovereign. That's why he takes control of everything. He knows what he does. But we compromise our sovereignty for filthy lucre. Because even though these things don't work for us, we accept them because we need filthy lucre from them. God bless us bountifully. With a nation like Belize, we are blessed bountifully. We have reached that stage now that we could be on our own without begging. We have recolonized ourselves, because of our mentality. All we need to do is to become like the prodigal son, to come back to our senses and stop eating hard food. We shall be better off, Rev and Pastor.
Pastor Scott, yes,
But anyway, I won't take up much of your time.
No, you're right on the, you're hitting the nail right on the head.
We need to come back to our senses.
Thank you.
And if our leaders don't do that, we have a responsibility. Rev and Pastor, I forgot.
Pastor Scott.
Pastor Scott, we need to come back to our senses. That's why I appreciate you with your program, because you are so outright. You were never trained to take any prisoners. You're forthright and you're outright in your program that you educate the people, and I must continue to congratulate Reverend Wade for accepting to be a senator, you know, because what he stands for is right and true, no matter what. And that we need many more of him. Thanks very much. Have a nice day.
You too.
Ayo, thank you very much, Wellington, calling from Dangriga, and 822-2031 to join our conversation this morning. There's the issue of the billboard. There's also the issue of the Roman Catholic Church's stand, and there's tremendous uproar. There is an attempt to try to paint the church as being archaic, out of step, anti-progressive, etc. But we do what is best for the nation of Belize. I think it's no secret that during the COVID, I supported the vaccination drive. That's not a secret, you know, but out of my family, you know, one of my sisters, the day she took that vaccine became the first day of a serious heart condition that she developed right on the chair.
I didn't realize that.
Absolutely, Scott. Absolutely, Scott. You know, and, you know, I don't want to identify which one that it was, but safe to say, but only to say that vaccines are not without risk, and so to try to attempt that, even though, as I said, you know, we supported it, my family supported it, because the amount of people that were dying around the world, but in a sense we believe the lie as it relates to the testing that the actual vaccines went through. And I am not even an anti-vaxxer. I've just sat here over the years and make it very clear that I am not an anti-vaxxer. The Roman Catholic Church is not an anti-vaxxer organization. I mean, they have, and we have, but specifically, I mean, the amount of experts that they have in every field. Their priests are the most highly trained clergy in the world. You know, like those priests that we are friends with. You know,
Yes.
they have PhDs sometimes in
Yes.
multiple disciplines.
And they don't speak on issues when they don't know.
Yes.
And that as a Catholic Church,
Yeah.
you know, globally, they have access to all of those resources. They have
Yeah.
whole organizations within the Catholic Church
Yeah.
that specialize in these kind of areas,
Yeah.
and family values and attorneys and all of that.
Yeah.
We've accessed them because of our partnership
Their
with the Catholic
expertise,
Church.
their
They're experts.
expertise in so many areas, and so to try to paint the image that the church is out of step for a very important decision. I said it, you know, I fully support their decision to say you will not give this vaccine to our children on the school compound. They did not say anything about the vaccine. They did not say anything about the safety or power. They did not tell people to take it or not to take it. They did not enter or venture into those aspects. So it is unfair for anybody who is trying to give the impression, because they wanted direct access to the children. It's like you have a job to do, and because you see that all the chicken and they one kind of say, boy, we are going to attack them there. So you don't have to mount the most you don't have to mount a severe education campaign. You don't have to convince. You don't have to go through all of the explanations and answer the difficult questions, because, hey, they're in the school, so let's go there. And so I'm going to say it again. I fully support their position. And Scott, I had to go public because I was asked by one of the media houses to make a comment. And I said this. I said 2 weeks ago, the Ministry of Health was defending their contraceptive position. 2 weeks ago. And what were they saying?
In terms of needing a prescription.
In terms of needing a prescription,
right. So,
and to get a prescription, you have to go to a medical doctor.
Because of the dangers.
Because of the dangers.
That's right.
2 weeks ago, they were saying, no, we don't want to do this thing willy-nilly where you just go to a pharmacist who already is a health professional. We want you to go to a medical doctor so that they can explain side effects, how you are to take it, how you are not to take it, and monitor. That was the official Ministry of Health position concerning contraceptives. 2 weeks later, they are promoting the exact opposite. The exact opposite, which is send a paper home to the parent, and the parent will tick a yes and no box, bring it to school, and then the medical will give a vaccine to the child.
Yep.
In the absence of the parent, in the absence of the guardian, and then want the teacher to be that person in the room, if that is even the case. Because every single minor, and they're talking about 9-year-old up to 13.
Yep.
In every single case where a child is to be medically attended to, a parent, a adult has to be there, and the adult of choice is the parent, without need for legislation. And in any other case there is need for legislation. Think about the fact that the OSH bill, which is still in the Senate, this is not to give you anything, this is not to put anything into your body, this is not to put anything into your system. And I said I'm not an anti-vaxxer. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm not pulling out the data. I could, it's not that I can't. But I'm just saying, just basic from the very surface. I'm not going to put anything into your system. I am simply taking a specimen of saliva, a specimen of blood, a specimen of, so that I can take that specimen and I'm going to get DNA out of it. So I'm not going to add anything to it, I'm going to take. And the legislation has to be specific to say who can be in the room. Yeah. And that a minor and a disabled person and a mentally challenged person must have a court-sanctioned individual present in the room.
So they strain the net on the one side,
right,
and then just let everything go on the other side.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You understand? And so the more you explain of how important this vaccine is, the more the need for the parent to be in the room. The more the need, the more important. Oh, this is the most important vaccine in the history of the world that's going to eradicate cervical. I believe you. I believe you. It's not the point. The point is, where's mom? Where is dad? See, so last week I think it was that we were celebrating Vaccine Week or something, and a team was around the table. Was it last week or the week before? It was recently enough that it's still in my memory.
Yeah, from Ministry of Health, yes.
Right. So, we're not anti-Ministry of Health. We sit here on a regular basis and we big up the work of the health professionals at the Ministry of Health. But
But we just got a home run from them on this thing about with the contraception.
Absolutely.
Right? Not that we're anti-contraception, but just that it needs to be monitored, right? And because of the dangers. And so we just got a home run on that, and then now the gates are just thrown wide open, and let the cows go wherever they want.
Stick a yes or a no. No.
That's right.
No. You know, so that is my sentiment on that, Scott, as it relates to the billboard situation. It is not just the sexualization of the woman, but it's also the objectification of the woman.
Yes, yes.
Right?
The women are just an object.
Just an object, like I can make money off putting her body up there, and the alcohol is going to sell. And the more I will push the envelope to make her as nude as possible. I'll take it as far as possible. I will make it as sensual as possible until I could, whatever is the length that I can do with the woman's body, till the community stop me. And if they don't stop me, I will ram it to the limit, because the woman's body is what sells my product, and I will use the woman's body to the detriment of the Belizean society. And that's the mentality. And you are absolutely right, Scott, as it relates to the domestic violence. And it's also child sexual abuse, because the pedophile now that can't go out there and court some woman looks at the child, looks at the vulnerable individual, and say, well, I can't succeed here, so I'm going to go over here. There is no positive benefit to alcohol. There's no positive benefit.
The doctors said that. The doctors, the panel of doctors said that. Like I said, my jaw dropped when we've known this, but to hear the professionals say it, the experts.
So who these people out there cussing us out? So it's clear that they do not understand the issues, Scott, because they're the same ones that are complaining about the high accident rate, the same ones that are complaining about domestic violence, same ones complaining about the sexual abuse cases that are popping up all over this country. And simultaneously, because the only group that is willing to say that is wrong, that must come down. The only group that is willing to stand up to PUP or UDP or the multimillionaires, companies, or whatever it is, to be able to say, thus saith the Lord, to be able to say, no, these values, they will cuss us out, because we are fighting against alcohol abuse, alcohol addiction, and the normalization of alcohol within our society. They will actually make us the villains. I say, could you imagine, you don't have a problem with a half-naked lady on a billboard, but you have a problem. Yes. with the inappropriate.
If it was half naked, we wouldn't have a problem, right? Yeah. If she had on a one-piece bathing suit, it wouldn't be a problem.
Absolutely. You know, they don't have a problem with the billboard, but they have a problem because I wake up a little too early one morning on the
I had to grab you by your ear.
They have a problem. Like this is the problem, right? A post that will, or a comment that will disappear in whatever, a couple of hours, whatever. I'm not saying I was right or anything, but I'm just saying that is the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
This is the hypocrisy, and I've seen it over and over, including in the media, where they will lambaste a particular issue, and then the next issue will say nothing wrong with that, when you can literally see the direct link between these issues.
Yeah.
And so, you know, make we take we lick to stand up for truth. Make we take we lick. Oh, we have a call. I went on a rant there.
I was gonna tell the caller to call back, maybe that's them, so.
Caller, morning.
Morning. Okay, morning. All right,
Yeah. Right. So, Scott, 90% of HPV infections are cleared naturally by the body's immune system. Now start me, 90% of HPV is cleared naturally by the body within the 2 years, and it can be cleared within 6 months naturally. Why 2 years? Because of people who smoke and drink. So if your lifestyle is smoking and drinking, your immune system is compromised, so the longer it takes. So 90% of HPV is going to clear naturally. Did you hear anybody out there talking about that?
Yeah.
Where the health professionals saying, hey, you know what, 90% of these things clear naturally. Don't smoke, don't drink, and your immune system is going to be high. Nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's take the call. I don't take up too much time.
Morning, caller.
Good morning, Pastor Scott.
Morning.
Good morning, Pastor Wade.
Good morning.
I want to congratulate you, Pastor Wade, for you and your committee or your team for standing up for what is not right, against injustice and corruption. And please don't be exhausted in standing up against these things, sir. Many of us are standing up, but many people love to see these kinds of things. Imagine that billboard, sir. What is that sending? What message is that sending to our children? Imagine the corruption in the immigration at this time. What is that telling our children? What the corruption in our communities? So we need to stand up, even if it's by ourselves. I think it was Charlie Good who stood up by Social Security. So I want to continue to commend you, sir, and your group, so that the others know that this is not right. So, Pastor Will, I'm calling you all the way from PG. Once your hometown, and I believe it's still your hometown. Keep up the great work, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, too.
Thank you for calling us. I was listening.
I wasn't aware about that 90% thing,
Yes,
Lewis.
they're not saying it. And I'm going farther than that. I'm going farther. Why is Belize #1 in HPV?
Yeah.
What is it that we have?
We need to check the water. We need to check our food supply, or is it a human behavioral?
It's a STD.
Yes.
It's a STD.
Yes. And you don't hear anybody talking about if you're not sexually active.
Exactly.
Right? I remember the ad. I was telling the guys from Freedom House yesterday morning in our Bible study, the ad that PlusTV used to have. You have to dig that up and get it going. Before you have sex, make sure you put this on. And everybody's like, how do I run that on PlusTV? And then it's a ring on the finger, right? In other words, save yourself for marriage. And if you have a young lady who saves herself for marriage and a young man who saves herself, Lewis, what would be the percentage calculated on your calculator? What would be the percentage of them having HPV if they have not been sexually active zero? How long did it take you to calculate that?
I get it wrong. Zero.
0.0000000.
And then the Ministry of Health is handing out condoms left, right, and center. Yeah. When they talk about the war in Iraq, you know what the biggest thing Belize was worried about after petroleum? That they can't get rubber for condom. That was it, Scott. And then the Ministry of Health came out and said, we have this overabundant supply of condoms, don't worry about it. Why doesn't the Ministry of Health tell the country of Belize that condoms cannot stop HPV because it is an extremely highly contagious virus.
That's right. That's right. And so
Why not?
yeah. And and then they feel like we are irrelevant as a church when we talk about abstaining from sex, right?
Right.
And so, but then I just want to present to everybody what quality does it take in your heart to abstain from sex?
Right.
Discipline is important, but there's something stronger than
Yeah.
that, which is vision. What's your vision for the future, right? And then if you understand how this thing works, if you keep giving yourself away to all these other people. So I would say if you are sexually active with multiple partners, you need to be checking for HPV.
That's right.
And if you want, go ahead and get the vaccine,
That's
right? And so, but then to not share with young people the other side of the story, which is if you save yourself for marriage, right? And they said, but all it takes is one time. Well, hopefully that could be a wake-up call to you to realize, wait, I just gave away something that I should have not given away. And so, but here's my point, Louis, if you fast forward, when you build those qualities of discipline and self-control and vision and understanding and all of that, which is all what builds a strong marriage, right? And so what we're talking about, future down the road, like building strong families, strong marriages, right? And but nobody seems to be talking about that, and they want to call us irrelevant and out of the picture because we're saying, hello, this is the way God made it to be, right?
Exactly. So Belize has a serious problem with addiction. Belize has, be it sexual addiction, be it alcohol addiction, be it marijuana and drug addiction, where we are tapping the Caribbean and Central America in all of these matrices, and you will not deal with the root cause,
That's right.
which is behavior and behavior change.
That's right.
And because the church stands upon change and transformation through Christ and the need to alter your behavior, and because the church does not join your merry band to sing your song and to sing your tune, and because the church stands upon the safest only guarantee, then you come against the church. You come against the church. You have all of the resources, Ministry of Health. You have all of the resources available at your fingertip. You can't even develop a cancer registry as yet. Something that is as basic as necessary to have the proper data across this country of Belize. Every single time the Cancer Association comes here and sit on this program, they talk about the lack of a proper cancer registry. But the Cancer Society, they have come out and try to blast the church because the church stands upon a principle. Listen, you have all of the money, you have all the resources, and you have all the medication, you have all the condoms, you have all the contraception, you have all of these huge arsenal of options. But because the church won't bow to you, you have a problem. The church won't bow to you, you have a problem. And so I'm glad when the church just say, no. Or they get in such a tizzy, they get into such a, like ants nest all over the place.
Get their panties in
Yes,
the car.
because the church don't want to come on board, so the whole society is going to hell and everybody is going to get cervical cancer.
That's right.
That's the professional attitude that you are all trying to display to me right now. You don't need to convince me a thing about the vaccine. The vaccine name something 9, because guess how much HPV virus it protects you from? Take out your calculator. 9? 9!
And that was just a guess,
Okay.
right?
Now, how much HPV is out there?
hundreds.
Yes, 100, no, it's 100 and something.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to play the video. Is that okay?
Sure.
Right. See? Me not against you, you know.
Yeah.
Me not against you, know. The church did not say anything about take or do not take or whatever it is. The church talk about informed consent because as professionals, you are supposed to give. When that cancer person sit down beside you, in front of you, and you have to tell them about the medication that they have to take, you give them the good, bad, and ugly. Why is it that you do not want to give parents the good, bad, and ugly?
Yeah.
Why is it?
That's right.
And so the church now says, no, not here. You're not going to use the authority of the church as your cover. You better go use your scientific brouhaha. And as again, I'm not anti-science.
But what do you call somebody, Lewis, that's trying to sell you something, but they're not telling you the whole story?
Yeah.
Right? Don't you call them a scammer?
Yes, absolutely.
So
and so the church is saying, hey, go explain to parents, like go let the parents sit with a medical professional, and then the parents say, and what's the side effect, doc? And how long is this thing going to last, doc? And how many of these vaccines that my child need to take, doc? And doc, if something happens to my child gets sick, like who is liable, doc? You know? So, but I want to play it just in case I say, boy, this Louis Wade or this Scott Sturm or this man in show, we can meet. I think Scott already said, yes, please.
I want to challenge everybody, right, that we want to try and find the root cause. You want to get to the root cause. And when those things are human behavioral, many times that's where people abandon ship because they don't want to hear nothing about have to change my behavior, right? But what I want to encourage everybody in is that the importance on this issue, one of the primary things for us, Lewis, is one of the things that we had to deal with in the Constitution issue as we were going through and reviewing that, but that children belong to parents, not to the government. And then some people are saying, well, they are giving conformed consent, right? But that if they're not getting the full information on that, and but here's my point. When you have internal government in your heart, when you have law in your heart, then you don't necessarily need external government. You don't need that, right? But when you're lacking that, then the external government has to come and regulate and force, right? And so that's why in dealing with the gang violence, these people don't have that internal law inside their heart. And then that's why we have to send in the BDF sometimes, but the GSU and all these, gang suppression units and all these kind of things, because people don't have law in their heart. And so you have to come in with this heavy-handed external control. But the answer is, if we could get our eyes open, if we could get our minds open to be able to understand issues and see how this thing works, and that translates into a change of our human behavior, because we understand how it works, then you have internal law in your heart, and you're not necessarily in need of this external governance, right? And so I'm encouraging everybody. And what are we talking about? We're talking about discipline. We're talking about self-control. We're talking about respect, honor, loyalty, faithfulness, all these different things. And those are the things that build for a strong society, Lewis. And yet we live in a cutthroat society these days. That's what we have degraded ourselves down to. And that's why we're hearing about double murders, in Corozal, double murders in Orange Walk. In the space of several weeks, Lewis, we had double murders here, double murders there, double murders out in Cayo, double rape stories of children. It's like, are you kidding me? And so why? Because we lack that internal law. And that external law is made for where that internal law is missing. And so that's where I want to challenge us as a nation. We need to get our eyes open when we're looking at these issues and get that understanding to where it brings that discipline and that self-control in our hearts.
Okay. We have a call. Carla, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, Carla.
Morning. Morning.
Good morning, Carla.
Good morning, Senator Wade. Good morning, Pastor Storm. This is Reverend Albert Ketus.
Good morning. Sir.
Hello.
Yes, we're here. Go ahead.
I'm calling to, I want to be careful how I'm calling here because you guys are championing a very serious issue of morality here and representing the church in opposition to a policy decision made by the Ministry of Health in reference to the covering the protection, they say, of children in schools requiring a vaccine. I want to make a comment and I want to ask you guys a question because I want to understand what truly is the position of the church. Listen to me carefully, please. Romans chapter 13 says, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there is no power or authority but of God. The authorities that be are ordained of God. Whosoever therefore resisteth the authority, resisteth the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Without them not be afraid of the authority, do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. Okay. Since the government of the Ministry of Health is the governing authority, all of us, the church, must submit to that authority in the understanding that it is an ordinance of God. Unless, of course, the state then is asking the population and the church as a part of the population to do something that is contrary to the will of God. Then the church can stand against the government because now it stepped outside of its God-given mandate. So this is what I'm trying to understand. Was it possible for the church, in this case, the denomination of Roman Catholicism, to have sent out a letter to the parents saying, we are conducting, by the instructions of the Ministry of Health, vaccinations to those children who parents have given their consent. Those children who have not received consent of their parents will not be vaccinated. Could not that have been a position taken by this particular denomination? I'm asking.
Right, so there are the big three: Roman Catholic Church, largest denominational school management in the country. Second to that would probably be the Anglicans, and then the Methodists.
I'll go off the line. I'll listen offline. Thank you.
We also have the Seventh-day Adventists, which also have quite a few schools across the country, and then there are smaller denominations, like the Church of the Nazarene. And let me state that I do not know what is the policy of the Church of the Nazarene schools. I do not know. All right? My responsibility is simply to analyze and then align, if I am comfortable with the position of the school. In this case, the Roman Catholic management system made a decision of how they are going to treat the issue. And I support it because God did not give children to the state nor to the secular governing authorities. God gave children before the state existed to parents. The first institution created in the Garden of Eden through marriage is the family, and the child belongs first and foremost to the family. That is a God principle. It trumps the state which came after. Secondly, it is the family that decides, I want my child to go to a Catholic school, a Methodist school, an Anglican school, a Seventh-day Adventist school, a denominational school, or I want my child to go to a government school. That authority does not belong to the state. It belongs to the parent. So the parent analyzes the school systems and say, in the best interest of my child, I will send my child to, in this particular case, a Roman Catholic school. That parent understands fully the obligation of the parent to the school and the obligation of the school to the parent. And that is why I congratulate the Roman Catholic Church, because they understand their obligation to the parent. They understand what the state is attempting to do, and they have built a fence. And the government wants to jump the fence. And the Roman Catholic Church said, no, you cannot jump the fence to reach these children. Go through the door. The door, which is the parent. Go through the door to the parent.
All right.
You see, there is a thing called appeal to authority. Pastor Wade said the vaccine good, take it. It wipes away the science, wipes away the questions, wipes away. You know, the church must understand its authority then, to not just jump on board and to say, thus saith the church, because then it abdicates you from the responsibility of explaining the science, because pastor say. And so we have to be careful about the appeal to authority, especially in scientific matters. That matters down the road, which may have ramifications. And I am sorry that we do not live in the day when the vaccine was tested and went through all of its rigorous processes, and they used dead vaccine. And again, I'm not telling you anything about the current vaccine. I am simply saying, you know, gone are the days of that institutional trust. So you say the vaccine is good, awesome, nice, and amazing. Go.
And we are in the information age where people can get access directly to that.
And the social media
age
where everything is muddy.
And people can share that information through social media.
Who are the best people to explain to parents and the child? Who is the best person? It's the medical professionals. It's a medical professional, and that's all. You have a problem because the church said, no, not here, over there, not here, over there, and you are going to now cast. No, man, you have a bigger issue. You have a bigger. You're attempting a bigger campaign. You're attempting a smear campaign. So what a disgrace to these organizations that are creating a smear campaign. So the Bible says that these governing authorities are servants of God, but it also says that the man of God is also a servant of God. So we do. Why is it that we don't pull down the billboard? But, I was asked. There's so many things like Louis Houden don't balloon why is it that? How is that? And he said, why? We respect the governing authorities, Scott.
That's right.
And we are following a process and a procedure. So we are following and respecting the authority.
There's a right way and a wrong way to go about things. So I myself have dreamed up all kind of different ways that we could get rid of that sign. I have a confession to make. Some of these strip clubs in Belize, that every time I drive by, I stretch forth my hand and pray, right? And if I've got other people in the vehicle, everybody stretch forth your hand and pray. And I had thoughts of, different ways that we could go about this. And but I never did anything, and I never told anybody about it. Anyways,
yeah, because particularly one, we are human. Two, there is temptation that tries to deviate. Satan tries to deviate us. Right? They try to put us in the same boat as the others, and It's...
So anyways, I'll get specific here. Hopefully, I don't get myself in trouble, right? But there was one in St. Matthews, and it was a thatch roof. And I mean, to think about, you know, take my son's bow and arrow and do like the old cowboy in Indian days, and, you know, light that thing and shoom, you know. And I'd look at some different places, you know, but no, I never did anything, and I never said anything to anybody. And one day, Louis, I drive by there and I see the whole place burned down.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, that is interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
But anyways, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to deal with situations like this. And we're trying to go about this in the right way, to work with the authorities. The authorities are supposed to step up and do what authorities do, which is enforcement, application, and so anyways, it does take some time, Louis.
Yeah.
It takes some work. It's easier just to go burn the thing down, right? But the right way takes more time.
Yeah, it does, right? So, and then media hungry, you know, want to action. So they can push the microphone and ask you to.
The number one deterrent is this thing called surveillance camera, right? It's like,
there's a pill for that. All right,
let's watch the video.
Let's watch the video. Let's watch the video.
10 years.
Trust in the Lord. That's
10 years after its rollout in schools, Belize's HPV vaccine program is back.
That's right.
10 years after its rollout in schools,
we can't get in the flesh. You get in the flesh, that's where the devil takes
in the
over.
spotlight.
Are we queued up, you think, Louis?
It's not just about public health. As the 10 years after its rollout in schools, Belize's HPV vaccine program is back in the spotlight. But this time, it's not just about public health. As the Ministry of Health and Wellness prepares for another round of vaccinations, resistance from the Catholic Diocese is reigniting a long-standing debate over who gets to decide what happens inside church-run classrooms. Citing policy dating back to Bishop Dorrit Wright, church leaders are drawing a line, setting the stage for a renewed standoff over health, authority, and access. The human papillomavirus, commonly known as HPV, is linked to cervical cancer and several other forms of cancer. Belize introduced the HPV vaccine into its national immunization schedule back in 2016 as part of a major public health push aimed at protecting children before exposure to the virus. At the time, health officials described Belize as having one of the highest cervical cancer mortality rates in Central America.
The WHO suggests that we should be vaccinating girls between 9 to 13 years. That's before they start to have sexual life. But we had to establish a cohort as we are introducing this, and based on the attendance rate that we have from schools, which is where most of the girls at this age group are, the standard 4 classrooms are the ones that are being selected.
At the heart of the debate is access, and for some schools, the rollout is moving ahead. St. Martin, the poorest RC school, is gearing up to vaccinate its stand. The debate is access.
Why the HPV vaccine? It's because the behavior, there's a behavior problem which takes Belize again and puts us at the top. So World Health Organization go, hey, you gonna need the HPV vaccine.
So we're number one in alcohol consumption. We're number one in marijuana consumption in our region, and we're also number one in HPV.
Right.
And we're the list could go on of bad things that we're number one in.
And it said right at the top, or anal sex, vaginal sex, oral sex is how it's spread. So, God do your thing, Ministry of Health. God do your thing. And left the church for say, hey guys, we have a big problem that a vaccine can cure. And that problem is root cause that Belize hit number one consistently. Government, you know what, deal with the root cause? You think that You could just throw science and throw medicine at it and you will fix it. And the church is saying, no, behavior. You know, why don't just do the thing and let the church to deal with the root cause, behavior? Well, why must we join your merry band? Why don't you join our merry band? And I finish it because I want to play the next one. You understand what I'm saying? So Belizeans, learn to think. Please stop the jump on bandwagon and analyze. Can we play a little bit more? Because I want to reach where Dr. Baer makes a comment. Let's continue.
And for some schools, the rollout is moving ahead. St. Martin, the poorest RC school, is gearing up to vaccinate its Standard 4 students on May 27th, staying on track with national program. As a Jesuit institution, it operates outside the directive of the Catholic Diocese, highlighting a growing divide within the church itself over how and whether students should receive the HPV vaccine. The Office of the Special Envoy for the Development of Families and Children issued a press release calling HPV vaccination a key step in protecting children and preventing HPV-related diseases, including cervical cancer. Tonight, the Catholic Mission stance remains firm objection, but what about the long-term consequences this objection will have on students attending diocesan schools? News 5 attempted to get answers from the Catholic Mission, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the Ministry of Education, and the Office of the Special Envoy for Women and Children. None agreed to interviews or questions regarding the implications of the objection. As the debate grows louder, the stakes become clearer. The Catholic Diocese oversees roughly 110 of Belize's 314 primary schools, meaning a significant share of young girls could face limited access to a vaccine health experts say can save lives. What's more, this comes at a critical point, nearly a decade after the program's launch, when officials expected to see measurable progress. Instead, access and outcomes now hang in the balance.
We have more than 150 different types of HPV. 13 of them are related.
How many?
Over
150.
150. How much the vaccine prevent from?
9.
9, right? Now I know what they're going to say. Oh, it's the 9 most prevalent, blah, 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 or whatever, whatsoever, which may be true, true. But what people need is information, you know? So what about the parent who, the school, they go, oh, well, I have already done my daughters already. I gave them 5 years ago, 3. Oh, I have, wonderful, congratulations. You know, informed consent, you felt confident, you felt comfortable, you gave your, wonderful, we don't have there's no problem with that. All right? So, you made an informed decision, or you felt comfortable enough, or you know the activity of your child, whatever it is, you as a parent came to a decision that you were going to do it, and that's what we are saying. So it's like, congratulations. I almost want to put congratulations and nice, wonderful, but because you made an informed decision, you see. So,
but Louis, this is common sense, right? If, like I said, if somebody's trying to sell you something and not giving you the full picture, what do you need to do as a potential buyer? You need to say, you listen to what they say, so they're telling you all the pros. Right? All right. So what are the cons? You're not going to get, if they're trying to sell you something, you're not going to get a clear answer on the cons. And so you're going to have to go do your own research. You're going to have to do your own study. Go look and yet I think that's where people drop the ball, because they don't want to put forth the effort, or they don't know how to put forth the effort and connect in with that. So then it raises a question on that informed, right? Informed by who? And so, but I believe for us as parents, it's important that we are diligent, and if you don't feel like you can do that, then you need to try and connect with somebody else that can, who's, gifted in those abilities or has that understanding. But these are your kids. And so, and like what you're saying, if somebody's come to a position of faith and conviction in relation to this and they're fine with it and you give consent, then that's fine. But don't round them up like a bunch of cattle and try and run them all through and say we gave informed consent.
Right. So why? All right, let's take this call. Carla, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Morning.
Yeah, just a quick minute. I only have seconds, man. Good morning.
Well, good morning.
Good morning, Pastor Wade.
Morning.
Pastor Scott, thank you very much. I listened offline, and your explanation was satisfactory. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Scott, my background is science. I probably said that over and over again. And there are so many people that think that science and faith are incompatible, or science and religion, or science and Christianity. And that is like the farthest thing from the truth. But you know why I, in a sense, left the field of science and became a pastor? And I'm not talking just like from the call of the Lord. Yes, like I could go into the spiritual journey. But I want to talk about the scientific journey. Briefly, I'm not going to go into detail, but because it was very simple. That I began to realize that science did not have the answers for the greatest needs of the human being. Because here am I teaching science, loving it, enjoying it, and we're exploring this wonderful world, and I see God in everything. But I began to see that people were depending upon science to give them solutions, or were even promoting science as if science was this cure-all. And I began to realize that no, science not got no pills for that. Because that is the mentality of the scientific field. That we could solve that, we could combine these genes, we could come up with that. But at the core of it, I began seeing more and more within my students, within the community, and within the world, that the greatest needs of man, there's no pill for it. There's no pill for it. Like the solution became bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, that the solution was a relationship with Christ, because the transforming power of Christ transformed behavior and character.
That's right.
And then
I'm going to cut you short there. If you can find science people that understand that and they factor that in, but then there's this big chasm between, right, the science and people's character and their behavior. And then you get a bias, which is secular humanism. It's where man becomes God. Man makes up his own laws, his own rules. Man develops these rights, right? The true rights, they come from God. And so, anyways, I'm just saying that to say, when you find somebody who is scientific but understands these other sides and factors that in, then I would say you want to listen to them, because it's a more balanced approach.
Yeah. So the reality of the matter is that there needs to be like behavior change, and that's where the church comes in. Like that's what the church specializes in. Yeah. It is for you to understand that drinking a pill does not go to the core issue. Like and then we said, no, we want to have this conversation, and then we don't want to have this conversation when you think it's necessary to have the conversation because it mess up your campaign. It'll mess up your campaign. So we should not be having, no, like I want to have the discussion like right now. It's like the billboard. Why don't you guys talk about the garbage situation, or why don't you talk about child abuse? Why does it not? Like I want to talk about the billboard like right now.
I I saw somebody hammer you. Why are you talking about this instead of lowering the price of gasoline? I'm like, wait.
Like, no. I want to talk about the billboard right now. And you know what? I'm going to bring in alcohol consumption. And you know what? I am going to... So I realized, as I say, that the greatest need of the human is a transformed mind.
That's right.
A transformed mind. And there is no pill for that. So left me alone, man. I don't walk the road, I walk the science road.
Yes.
You understand? Proud of it, love it. Love science to the max. Love the way how the vaccine function within the system. You understand? Builds up your immunity. You fight you fight a fake invader, so that you buff up so that when the true invader comes in, it's theoretically, and all of these things. It's so wonderful, the mind that God gave human. But there's something called ethics in science.
Yeah.
Because that scientist that has no ethics will go into the womb of a woman, cut out a baby, and take the cells from off of that entire womb, or not the womb, but the fetus and so on, and use that for experimentation. The scientists without the ethical boundaries. Listen, Scott, there's a doctor out there that's saying, pass a law that will let everybody get the vaccine. It's not going to be by choice. Why are you running up and down with it when don't we have the cure over here? Just let them all have it. And so the church comes in, society. Church comes in and church says no. And the no reverberates in the sea of yes. The no reverberates, and the demons, sorry for putting it that way, the demons are disturbed by the fact that the church comes up and say, no, in the sea of yeses, so
we've had some big rants, but I was going to ask, do we need to take a break? Give an opportunity for our sponsors that help keep Rise and Shine on the air, right? Yeah. So we'll go to a break, Louis?
We'll go to a break.
In the words of our dear friend, Brother Fem, keep it locked on the rock.
We'll be right back.
Land of the coconut tree, I love it, sweet Belize, sweet Belize. Land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef, I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize, sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace.
Prepare for the sweltering heat with a Rheem AC unit to keep you and your family cool and cozy. Get the recommended BTU for your bedroom or living room and enjoy complete comfort. You can also save some much-needed cash with an inverter unit, which provides superior energy efficiency. When the heat is on, stay cool with an affordable, dependable AC unit from Rheem. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
It's a global shortage of nursing. We have active recruitment of our nursing staff to other developed countries. We are not able to compete with those countries. However, we did formulate this package that would act as an incentive. I would also like to highlight the other part of the retention package or the retention strategy of the ministry. We have increased the number of scholarships for entry nurses. We have also now provide 100% scholarships to nurses who want to specialize at the master's degree level, and these nurses do not have to pay anything towards the training course. In partnership with the Nurses Association and the Ministry of Natural Resources, there is also a land distribution program for nurses. So all of these things would be a comprehensive package that we are now offering as a strategy to help retain our nurses here in Belize.
The retention package is a good idea. It's a start. I would hope for some improvements, but so far it's been going well.
It's a start for which I'm very grateful.
I've had many opportunities and many offers to go abroad, but I choose to stay here because I like serving my people.
Staying here in Belize is something that I want to do. I can't see myself retiring outside of Belize.
I think the best person to care for our people are very own. One of the most rewarding moments for a nurse is after they have done everything that they could do to make that patient better, and the patient gets well and is able to go back to their family.
Some of them are scared to even come to the clinic. Some of them are scared to go to the hospital. And if I can just relieve some of that stress from them, then I know I did good.
If all of us decide to leave, then who is here to attend to our people? And that is always my mindset.
Some hands do more than carry. They prepare, they fix, they comfort. They keep a home moving in ways few people notice. And even when the day is done, they are still thinking of home. For the months of May and June, we celebrate the hands that hold the home together, offering you 25% off on tiles, lights, fans, ACs, gardening supplies, and more, both in-store and online. Thank you, moms and dads, from Builders Hardware.
Flowers are more than petals and stems. They are messages. They speak when words fall short. At Bow and Our Flowers, every arrangement tells a story of love, gratitude, comfort, and celebration of moments that matter. From heartfelt condolences to joyful milestones and everyday surprises. We treat your moments as if they are our own. We're more than a flower shop. We create customized gift baskets filled with adorable items, making every gift truly unforgettable. At Bow and Our Flowers, our promise is simple: quality, heart, and arrangements that create long-lasting memories. Visit us in Naupan or Spanish Lookout. Contact us. Bow and Our Flowers, where every flower has a purpose and every gift hits the heart.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize.
10 minutes to 9 o'clock, Scott. I don't know where the time went.
Right.
Do you?
that break that we just took is not the middle of the show, right? So that we had to hurry, get that squeeze in before the end of the show because we have commitments to our sponsors, which we're very, very grateful for. But we're also, Louis, we're very grateful for the people of Belize. And like what I said at the beginning, if these times doesn't drop a seed in your heart that helps you to see the need for you to rise up, if what we're saying challenges you to go dig in on the internet and try and find information to be able to help you become better informed, then I feel like we've done our job, right? But again, it's still, the punchline is it needs to translate into action in our personal lives, but also in our nation. It needs to translate into action. If it's not translating into action, it's just talk in the breeze.
Thank you, Scott. I just got the assistant statement on HPV vaccine from the Roman Catholic Diocese of Belize and Belmont.
Very good.
If you allow me, I'd
Sure.
like to read it. It says the Roman Catholic Church supports parents. There you go. I could just have figured it out. Supports parents as the primary decision makers for their children's health care. Statement number 1. The Church affirms the value of the HPV vaccine and recognizes that it is ethically acceptable but does not consider a standardized school-based vaccination model to be the most appropriate approach for a sexually transmitted infection.
Very good. That's it right there.
The Church's concerns are not about the vaccine itself, but about proportionality, parental rights, informed consent, and the sensitive moral context surrounding a sexually transmitted infection.
Yeah.
See, that's what I would say. Is that I think sometimes they want to give the impression that the church are like a group of old men.
We don't know nothing about nothing.
Just know the Bible, you know. And they sit around and say, no, it's just, you know, that's why I give God thanks for the opportunities like this that we have and been given to be able to just disseminate information and to speak on behalf of the body of Christ. You know, he says the doctor-patient relationship allows families to ask questions, receive individualized medical guidance, and make decisions based on its specific needs and circumstances of their child. A standardized school-based model can unintentionally weaken this essential process by applying the same procedural approach to all medical interventions and circumstances, even though not all medical decisions require the same degree of ethical, personal, developmental, and familial discernment. Parents should also be aware that while Gardasil 9, see there, offers strong protection against several major HPV strains, it does not cover every cancer-causing HPV strain present in our region. This does not diminish the value of the vaccination, but it does highlight the need for a holistic approach. This includes medical prevention, regular screening, and moral formation, where the churches, I don't know who wrote this, but this is great. This is great. Wonderful. This is great. For those who have ears to hear.
That's what it says.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Great. Yeah, it's great. This person is great for those who have ears to hear.
I thought, man, if that has it in there, really.
This includes medical prevention, regular screening, and moral formation, where the church's promotion of chastity, virtue, and responsible decision-making serves as a crucial complement to public health efforts. Man, this is good. Firmly grounded in the social teaching of the church, the Diocese of Belize and Belmopan remains committed to working in partnership with the Ministry of Health in a spirit of mutual collaboration with shared goals of upholding the integral dignity and authentic well-being of every child. There you have it.
Yep. Yep. Very, very good, Louis.
Yeah, there you have it. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and you know, Ministry of Education know that, you know. Ministry of Health know that, you know, because they had to have these conversations around the table with the Roman Catholic Church, where those professionals in the Roman Catholic Church would have clearly articulated to the Ministry of Education's professionals and the Ministry of Health professionals what the position would be.
That's right.
And why.
That's right.
Go to the parents is what the church would have told the government. Now they get press release for special envoy, where they get cancer, all of it. Just hey, write a press release. You will drown us in press release rather than respect parental authority. Anyway, Scott,
well,
those are my...
I would say also, Louis, respecting moral development and character development and ethics and all of those kind of dynamics. These have been words that have been kicked around for a long time. The Catholics have pioneered the way. They are the largest educator, but also the other faith-based schools are all saying the same exact thing. We are committed to academic excellence, but also moral and character excellence. And so, folks, we should be thankful that our schools are committed to that dynamic, which is the formation of character, the development of character, talking about, you know, worldviews and how that relates to choices and decisions that young people can make in a day that, Louis, they never were making before. and the ages are getting younger and younger and younger, especially with the spread of media, the influence on that. They're having to make choices that they never had to be faced with before. And so I just want to encourage everybody. We all owe them a debt of gratitude for exactly what was just said, but in relation to that, the delivery of moral values into the hearts and minds of our kids. We still look at our nation and we are tremendously challenged in those areas. But Louis, the science, social science, the data all points back to the nuclear family.
Yeah.
Where you have a father, a mother, and the resulting children of those two people and the family that stays together. And the science, all the data shows that the children of a strong nuclear family have higher health conditions, they have less sickness issues, they have higher academic scores. When they graduate, they have higher scores, they get better paying jobs, and so it's the whole thing that God knows what He's doing, and I just want to encourage us. That's why we say kudos to the Catholic Church. I so appreciate them standing up, standing strong with clarity, and I think that was very well articulated. But children belong to parents, not to the state. And that's why we feel so strongly about this. So please, 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 if you have questions, dig in, try and find some answers. And I just want to encourage everybody, be positive, be proactive, take action, but children belong to parents, not to the government.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you all very much for joining us this morning. I trust that helps to educate you, inform you, help you to see a wider picture, and to be able to understand principle upon principle why the Roman Catholic Church decided. So I don't know what the position is for Adventists, I don't know what the position is for Anglican, I don't even know what the position is for Nazarene, or for what. So, you know, different groups have different resources as well available to them, you know, so, and different maybe different opinions. But one of the reasons why the Roman Catholic Church has the ability to make these kinds of decisions and statements is because of their theology. Crucify me if you want. But there is a line upon line, precept upon precept, theological standpoint, you know, like the theology of the body. Evangelicals don't have a theology of the body. I'm sorry, but and that is why so often it's like we do understand right from wrong, right? We do understand, like the Holy Spirit, praise God for the, you know, you're like, no, I don't think this is right. Something is wrong with this. You know, no, I can't support this. I think that, you know, that no, this doesn't sound good. And then we look at the Roman Catholic Church, and like there's a theological foundation for that. Some of you might not like what I have to say, but we've just been there long enough on these social issues, Scott, to be able to get I sorry to say it, but like, you know, like it's very difficult to get a press release like this, you know, from a denominational standpoint, that just builds like precept upon precept, principle upon principle, that can take you all the way back, if it has to, from the United Nations decision, resolution, whatever it is, as it passed through the process, comparing it with a theological thought process, where a press release is not just standing independently, but it stands upon like a foundation of, and so just, well, what my observation. That's right. And why we lean and we would say, can you send us the information that you have, so that we can help to bolster our position, because we have the same position.
That's right.
Around?
Yes, no, you're right. But that's why partnerships in the body of Christ are so important, because different ones have different strengths, right? But what this speaks to me loudly, Louis, is that education it's not a peripheral option with the Catholics; it's a central core value.
Absolutely, well said, well said. With that, Belize, God bless you. See you tomorrow, Scott.
Louis, thanks. Belize, have a wonderful day.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize.